What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video, and today we're going to be looking at the NHL standings after October. Now, if you're watching this, I am filming this on November 1st, so we're just going to be discussing the standings, how they look right before November 1st, so if anything changes after November 1st, of course, we're going to be looking at that at the end of November, and I might do it with stats at the end of November. That was something I was going to ask you guys for next month. Do you want me to look at player stats at the end of the month and stuff like that and go through a whole video? I didn't want to make this one too long with providing player stats as well. I thought this would just be a cool little recap and my thoughts, because I'm sure other people will be doing it as well, but again, we're going to go through the standings. So I've got the standings on my phone. I made sure to screenshot them so I'll be able to put them on the screen for you guys as well so we can look at these numbers together. And some of you may already know about the standings. I'm sure most of you know, but just to give my opinion and maybe just to have a general discussion, and you can comment down below your thoughts. So let's go. Alright, we'll start off in the Central, and I did do some predictions, and again, like I mentioned before, for fun at the end of the year, we're going to look at my standings predictions, and then we'll kind of go back and forth there. But like I said, we'll start off in the Central. For the month of October, the Nashville Predators are in first with 18 points, Colorado in second with 16, tied with Minnesota, who also has 16. Winnipeg has 15, tied with Chicago, who has 15. Dallas has 12. In 6th, and 7th is the St. Louis Blues with 9 points. So already I can remember some of my standings predictions from before. The top two aren't really much of a surprise for me, other than the fact that Winnipeg probably should be the ones that are up there. And again, these guys are like between 1 and 2 points, and this is what I'm going to just say right off the bat. Unless there's like a huge point discretion, like right off the bat, where it looks like a team is like looking terrible already, then I'm gonna get into why this looks bad. But like, it's just 1 month. Like, these points can literally change. If a team wins 2 games, another one loses 2, like, somebody else will be in first. So again, this is just a quick discussion on October. But Nashville being in first with a 9-3 record, Colorado 7-3-2, Minnesota 7-3-2, Winnipeg 7-4-1, Chicago 6-4-3. Dallas 6-5-0, St. Louis 3-4-3. So St. Louis is the biggest surprise out of all of those for me. And again, people might say, okay, Winnipeg is like a couple points out, but I expected them to be, you know, maybe tied with Nashville for a good amount, or maybe even in first. They lost two games in a row to the Toronto Maple Leafs. If they win both of those games, of course, it's a different story. So that's what I'm trying to say early on. This doesn't really matter as much, but it is fun to look at and give your thoughts early on. Minnesota's surprised me a little bit, that record. I thought they would maybe be a team that falls out of the playoff race. Like last year, like they were pretty good, and then at the beginning of this year, I was like, okay, maybe they're gonna fall out. They're not gonna be a playoff team, but it's looking like they're doing pretty good. So Chicago as well, they're hanging in there too. They look pretty good. Dallas and St. Louis being at the bottom, like I said, it's tough. St. Louis is definitely the big surprise for me. I mean, the difference between them in first place, 9 and 18 points. Like, you would expect St. Louis to at least be in the 14, 15 point range, in my eyes at least. I don't know what you guys think, but St. Louis made a lot of moves in the offseason, and I figured they'd be a team that gets, you know, some decent amount of points in October, maybe get some chemistry going with some of these new talent, and it just hasn't worked out to what they would like it to be. But again, this could completely change. I expect Winnipeg in the next month to be in first, and that's maybe what I'll do. I'll predict who will be in first in the next month. So I'm going to say Winnipeg. All right, so next in the West is the Pacific Division, and there is some huge surprises in this early on, but again, it's very early. So Vancouver's in first with 16 points, San Jose is in second with 15, tied with them in second, technically in third is the Calgary Flames with 15, the Oilers in fourth with 13, Arizona has 12 points. In fifth, the sixth place is Anaheim with 12, Vegas in seventh with 11 points, and in eighth is Los Angeles with 7. So first off, Vancouver is killing it so far, 8-6-0. Then you got San Jose trailing 6-3-3. I expect they're going to get much better. Again, Carlson's new there. Once he starts to get comfortable and he puts up even more points, because we know he's capable of taking that next step, they're going to get better at 6-3-3. 7-5-1 for the Calgary Flames. This is the way that I think a lot of people wanted them to start. I think they're going to have to win some more games coming up here because they don't want to fall behind, and that's the thing with Calgary and even Edmonton. They just, sometimes if you watch them in years past, when they start falling behind, it's like a huge mountain to climb for them. They don't pick it up, like they don't come together. It almost seems like things just fall apart. Again, that's just my opinion, but I hope that they stay in the race. Like Edmonton as well, 6-4-1. That's pretty decent. Arizona 6-5-0. They're doing pretty well. I think a lot of people wanted them to take a step, and they've looked okay. Anaheim 5-6-2. Some people seen this coming, a little bit of a drop off for them, but once their team gets healthy, they've been missing some pieces, and they're giving up way too many shots on Jordan Gibson. They're gonna have to just pick their game up. They got to figure out ways to score. Vegas at 5-6-1. Now, I did have Vegas, I believe, in my predictions pretty high, but I did say in the video, and I have said it before in streams and stuff like that, I don't expect Vegas to be as good as they were last year. I don't expect some of their players to put up nearly as many points as they did. A lot of people get on me because I said that William Karlsson won't be nearly as good. I don't expect him to even put up half the goals that he put up. Actually, that's a lie. I did say 20 to 25. But I do expect a huge drop-off. Vegas, they have a good team, but whether or not they're going to be as good as last year, and the hype has kind of fell off a little bit, they're going to have to really see how they can get that game. And again, this is a very early in the season, but like I said, some teams, they fall behind, they can't pick back up. So just watch. That could be a storyline. Los Angeles, 3-7-1. That's definitely not where they wanted to be. They picked up Kovalchuk. Obviously, they have Doughty locked in long-term now. They've got basically the same team put together. They've got some decent young pieces mixed with some veteran players. Quick is out too now. I believe he's having surgery. So this season for LA is probably not going to be a good one. I mean, they've started off bad. If Quick's going to be out for a big amount of time, it could get ugly. But if I was to make a prediction, I'm going to say San Jose or Calgary will be first. If I've got to pick one, the first team that I thought of was Calgary. I think Calgary is going to be in first in this division next month. And I hope I'm right because I don't mind the team. All right, let's move over to the East and the Metro. We'll go there first. And this is just the way I downloaded the picture, so I'm not trying to leave the Atlantic last. I know people will say you did, but I'm just going to go with the Metro first. So Pittsburgh's in first with 14 points. The Islanders are in second with 13. Carolina's in third with 13. Washington with 12. We've got Columbus with 12. New Jersey with 11. Philadelphia with 10. And the Rangers with 9. So Pittsburgh, no surprise, they're always going to be a fantastic team. At this point, they've just got too many good, talented players that put up a lot of points, especially when Kessel's going. If they've got Kessel going, Malkin and Crosby are almost always going. That's just insane. They've got too much talent there. Gensel as well. Letang looks pretty good as well to start the season. So they're 6-2-2. The Islanders are 6-4-1. That's a surprise to me. I didn't expect this Islanders team to be any good, but again, this is just the first month. I keep trying to remind people of that because some people are going to get on me for that, but I'm just going through every month. It's going to be difficult for the first month because people are going to say it's too early, but we're just talking, okay? Carolina 6-5-1. They're going to get better as the season goes on, I believe. Washington 5-3-2. That record will get better. I mean, defending Stanley Cup champs, they'll get more comfortable. They'll start scoring more goals. Ovi will just keep doing his thing. I expect them to be probably second next month. Columbus 6-5-0. They're a team that's I'm going to talk about probably in another video at some point because they've got a lot of questions coming up with Bobrovsky and Panarin. That's going to be interesting to look at. They got to win this year. I mean, they're not. I can't see them being a cup favorite. I can't see them being a cup contender. And I hate to say that to Blue Jackets fans, but unless they make some significant moves and maybe like you don't want to panic because if you lose those two guys, that's most of your team. I'm sorry, but that's like the biggest chunk. I mean, I know Jones is good and they have a lot of other pieces Jones is injured right now, but you lose an all-star goaltender who's one of the best goalies in the world and your best scoring forward, you're taking a bit of a hit. So Columbus is going to have to do something. I don't know. I'm going to make a video on that. New Jersey with 11 points. They had a hot start to the year. They've kind of fell off. I already said their points. I meant to say the record, 5-3-1. But they had a hot start. I believe they were 4-0 to start the year. They fell off a little bit. But, again, good start for them, and they'll probably keep going at a decent pace. Philadelphia at 5-7-0. They've had a lot of injuries. They're going to get better once their team gets healthy, but they have just too many good, talented players for them to have a losing record in my eyes. But if this continues, oh Lord, that Philly fan base is not going to be happy. And the Rangers, I think a lot of people expected at 4-7-1 that they weren't going to be the greatest this year. They're kind of in a retooling, rebuilding type of year right now, so we'll have to see where they end up. And my prediction, I'm going to say Pittsburgh will be in first again next month after November. Well, this month, I guess, at the end of November. All right, the Atlantic, the last division that I will talk about because it's the last one there. All right, Tampa Bay in first, 17 points. Toronto in second with 16. Boston in third with 16. Montreal and Buffalo both have 14 points. Montreal, then Buffalo. Ottawa with 10. Detroit with 8. And Florida with 7. So, not really too many surprises here, maybe Florida, but Tampa Bay 8-2-1. I'm just going to say it right now. I mean, they're going to be first again at the end of November because the next team I'm going to talk about, Toronto, like I mean, Tampa still has their team. They're healthy for the most part. I mean, they do have a player named Point, but for the most part, they're healthy. They're a good team. They've got a lot of depth. They've held on to a lot of their core, most of their core, and team-friendly deals. This team looks to be just as good as it was last year, and they're going to be competing for a Stanley Cup. In October, they had a good month, 8-2-1. Toronto in second, like I was going to say, at 8-4-0. 16 points, not too bad, but Austin Matthews being injured, and at the time I'm filming this video on November 1st, no contract for William Nylander. It's going to be very difficult for them to win games because, yeah, they do have a lot of depth, but two guys who are not in the lineup that probably get you a ton of points. Obviously, Matthews started the year very hot. Nylander hasn't even started the year. They're going to have to rely on Freddie being good and Tavares, Marner, and Kadri being the guys that put up a ton of points with a lot of points coming from your back end and guys like Morgan Rielly and Jake Gardiner. So we'll have to see where that goes. Boston, 7-3-2. I expect them to chill around here. Halak has been pretty good. Tuukka Rask, not as good, but he'll pick it up. I have faith. I'm not a huge fan of Tuukka Rask, but for the sake of the Boston Bruins and their fan base, hopefully he gets a little better in the crease, but Halak has been doing all right. Montreal, they've been surprising. They're not too bad at 6-3-2. If they keep this up, I mean, maybe they're a sneaky playoff team. They've got some talent. Domi's been picking it up. Kotkaniemi, I'll never say that name right. Kotkaniemi. I'm literally going to say it every video now just to see if I can get it. But they've looked pretty good. All jokes aside, Carey Price is back. When Weber comes back in December or January, I believe it's probably going to be closer to January with rehabbing and stuff like that. They're just going to get better. Montreal, I already said that. Buffalo, 6-4-2. They're looking okay. They're going to need more production, depth production as well. Eichel's going to have to spaz. He's going to have to go off and get a bunch of points because he's basically going to lead this team. And Dahlin, I haven't heard too much about. I've been trying to watch as much as possible, but this Buffalo team will be fine. They're going to grow up together with this young core, and they're going to be a pretty solid team. This October month is probably not where they want to be, but they're going to get much better. Ottawa, 4-5-2, not even that bad. A lot of people had them dead last. I think I did as well. I don't know what else to say about this team. It's so confusing. I never know whether this team is going to just surprise everybody and be good like the Ottawa team a couple years ago, or if they're just going to be completely awful and then end up giving the Avalanche a first overall selection maybe, or a top 3 pick or something. Who knows? But Ottawa's probably where a lot of people expected them to be, towards the bottom of the division. Detroit, 3-7-2, not a great start. Detroit has not looked good. I know a lot of people like Nyquist has not been pleased with the start of this Detroit team. There's a lot of people on Twitter, actually. All the Detroit fans that follow me on Twitter, thank you very much. Like, I really appreciate it. There's a lot of them. I think there's one I can't remember, but you know who you are. He's got a beard, and he wears a Red Wings ball cap in his Twitter picture. I can't remember the name of the Twitter account, but I appreciate you. You're always tweeting me and stuff like that. I will definitely get your name correctly next time I make a video on the Red Wings, which should be soon, actually. So 3-7-2, they're going to want to improve that record. Sorry, there's stuff going on upstairs. I don't live alone, so I just letting you know, I'm just recording downstairs. But Detroit 3-7-2, that record is going to have to get better, or else they're going to be looking at a pretty rough season. Florida, a big surprise for me out of this whole division, 2-4-3. Luongo's been hurt. Reimer hasn't been that great. The team just seems like they're not doing all that well. They're actually playing right now in the Global Series, or I can't remember what series it is, but regardless, this Florida team's going to have to get better. They're going to have to get a lot more scoring. I probably said they're going to have to get better a billion times in this video. But again, if I'm going to predict from the Atlantic, Tampa Bay is going to be first in my eyes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to maybe put some suggestions down below for other videos, or if I should do a stats video next month, let me know. Leave your predictions down below. There's also links in the description box if you want to check those out. I'd appreciate it. I'll see you guys. Oh man, I didn't even do my proper outro. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 4,000 subscribers. I don't mind putting in my mistakes in the video because I think it's hilarious and I should show you guys. So that's why I don't cut those out sometimes when I make a mistake. But anyways, click that notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.